Hey everyone! So I've been holding off this video for a really long time and I've finally decided to make it. It's my coming out story. I know that a lot of gay YouTubers do this, so I thought why not? I watched coming out stories on YouTube during my coming out and they really helped, so I thought I'd share my story with you guys. Basically, looking back on my childhood, I was a pretty gay kid. I didn't know it at the time, of course, but, well, for me anyway. But I remember growing up in my house is pretty cool. My mom and dad were really open to like everyone, and they were really accepting and stuff like that. And when I was growing up, and my mom would talk about me like getting married or getting together with someone when I was older, she would never put a gender to that person. She would just say, you're gonna grow up and marry or meet someone who is going to love you and you're gonna love them and you're gonna be happy. So growing up I never had that mindset of, okay, I have to get together with a guy. So that made my coming out easier for me, and which I'm really grateful for. But yeah, in elementary school, when all of my friends who were girls wanted boyfriends, I wanted to play sports with the guys because I was a tomboy. And I'm not saying that all tomboys are lesbians, but in my case, that was the truth. Um, and yeah, that's about it for when I was younger. When I was 13, I realized that I liked girls, and I came out as bisexual for quite a long time, like until I was 17. But I didn't come out as bi because I thought that it would be easier. I came out as bi because I liked guys at the time as well. So I remember I was sitting on the couch eating dinner, my mom was in her room doing her makeup, and I really needed to tell someone like about me liking girls, so I'm like, okay, I have to tell my mom. And I knew that my mom would be accepting, but either way, if you live in an accepting household or a not an accepting household, even more so, like, you're still nervous of what people are going to think of you. So I was sitting on the couch and I'm watching TV and I was thinking, okay, after this commercial, I'm going to go and tell her. No, after this one, after this one. So after about half an hour, I finally got off my butt and went to my mom's room and I told her that I had something to tell her. And I was like, I think I like girls. And she was like, oh, okay, that's nice, dear. She just like continued doing her makeup. And she just said to me, like, I really don't care who you're with just as long as they love you and respect you and you love them and respect them, and I don't care if they're black, white, purple, green, polka dotted, I don't care if they're from Mars, just as long as they eat my vegetarian meals at Christmas. So that went really well with my mom. After that, I didn't come out to anyone for quite a long time, actually. I dated a guy for a year, but I broke up with him because I was very confused, and that was a while from then. When I was 14, I started to get pretty depressed and low, and I didn't know what it was at the time because at the time I was going through a lot more things. I actually was going through testing because I wasn't comprehending things in school and I had to have things explained to me about 20 million times, and I was diagnosed with a learning disability, and that was really difficult for me, so I had a processing problem and I was having trouble in school and I just had all this stuff going on, so I thought it was school, but looking back, it was the fact that I was like super confused. When I got even more depressed, I I was a mess. I was crying like every single day, and my mom was like, okay, you just have to get away from everyone. You have to go somewhere. So my mom gave me a ticket to go visit my aunt and uncle, But the day before I left, I called my best friend. I told her I was going to be away for a week. She was like, we have to do something. So I went out with her and we got junk food and we hung out for a while. And in my head I'm like, okay, I got to tell her anyway. So it was like, I have something to tell you, and if you tell anyone, like, I'm going to kill you. Like, just don't say anything. And she was like, no, it's fine, don't worry. So I told her, I'm like, listen, I'm bi. She was like, oh, that's cool. And she didn't care. Thank God she didn't care, because we ended up missing our bus and we had to walk home, which takes about an hour and a bit. So I ended up hanging out with her until like midnight and then heading home. So she accepted it really well. Then after her, I went to visit my aunt and uncle, and I told them, because my first night there I actually snapped at my aunt. She was talking to a friend, and at the time I was still with my boyfriend, and she asked me what my boyfriend's name was, and I snapped it back at her. And I've never yelled at my aunt, never done anything. She's the sweetest person ever. So I apologized to her that night when everyone was gone. I'm like, listen, I snapped back at you, and I'm super sorry. She was like, I didn't notice that, and she actually didn't notice that I snapped back at her. But I apologized, I broke down, I was like, I'm so confused, and this sucks. And I'm like, I'm bi. So, and both my aunt and uncle were there, like, at the time, and they both didn't care. And this was the first day I was there, so my aunt just asked me questions, like, when I knew, and all that funky stuff. Then, when I came back, I broke up with my boyfriend. I didn't give him a defined reason why, I just told him that, like, with schools and things like that, it wasn't gonna work, and I felt really bad. Then, as the year, like, progressed, I told a few more friends. I told one of my best guy friends, and he really didn't care. He's like, Tegan, I don't give a fuck who you date, just as long as you're happy. And then I told my other really good friend, and she said that she saw it coming, and she said that she thought that I would be the one to experiment with, like, the same sex and whatnot, so she thought it was funny. And then January came along, and this is January of last year, I think, yeah. I'm really bad with dates, but January of last year, and I was like, screw it, I want everyone to know, I don't care. So I told my really good friend to tell everyone that I went to school with. And then I asked my mom to tell off my family members that didn't know yet. So, and at this point I was coming out as gay. Like, I knew I wasn't bi. So, with my friends it went really well. There was a little bit of a spat with another person because of miscommunication and things going around like crazy. But it was the way that my ex was told that I really didn't like, and when he found out, I actually had to go to a party that he was at, so I was like really nervous. But he was super cool with it, and at the end of the night, I was like, I need to talk to you about what happened. And then he gave me a hug, and he's like, Tegan, I could never not be friends with you because of this. Like, that would be stupid. He's like, you're an awesome person. I would never, like, I'm always gonna be your friend. And he actually went home that night, like, wrote me a big email. So I was happy about that. But everyone accepted it that I went to school with. Everyone really accepted it. They either saw it coming or didn't see it coming and just didn't care. And with my family, it was the same reaction. I had family members. I had one family member who was like, "Oh, I could see that coming." So I'm like, "Why didn't you tell me?" But yeah, I had one of my aunts was like, "Oh, I knew that," and yeah, everyone was super accepting. My grandpa thought it was great. One of my other aunts is like, yay, now we have one of everything in the family, which makes no sense because we don't, but she was super happy, and like no one cares. My nana was told by my mom, like, she had to call most of the people because they don't live where we live, and it was really funny because my nana likes to make cards. She makes cards for the holidays and she makes cards for birthdays. And one day I get home from school and I see a card addressed to me from my Nana. So I'm thinking, if this is I'm like, okay, it's not my birthday, it's not a holiday, what could this card be? And in my head, I was like, if this is a coming out card, like a happy coming out card, I'm gonna pee myself. I'm gonna laugh. And it actually was. At the front it said, congratulations for finding yourself. And like, it was so sweet. So I got a coming out card, which was pretty cool. It made me laugh. It made my day. And I told my sister a while ago, like when I was telling my first like really good like 3 friends, I told my sister. I came up to her as bi though, and she's like, oh, I don't care, that's cool, whatever. And at some points, like, she's telling her friends and I don't care, but she's like, are you bi or are you gay? And this is like a couple months ago. I'm like, no, I'm gay. She's like, okay, cool, because she just got confused. But yeah, my family took it really well. Like, there's a couple of family members who don't know, and I'm gonna keep that to myself. I'm not gonna tell them for a while. Or they just don't need to know. But pretty much, like, everyone's cool, and I don't take it for granted. My coming out went really well. And I know that with a lot of people, it doesn't go very well. I'm friends with people who their parents don't even accept it. And I mean, like, I can only hang out with them because their parents still think that I'm straight. But, like, I've seen it. So I'm totally grateful for how my coming out went. And it went really well. So, just like advice for coming out, if you're in an environment where you know that your parents are going to accept you and your family and your friends are going to accept you no matter what, then, and if you want to come out and you know that you're in a very like supportive environment, then by all means come out. If you're in a very not bad situation, but in a situation where you probably will get kicked out of the house or not be accepted or be shunned by your family, depending on your age, I would say either I don't know how I would handle that, but I mean, like, I think that for me, I would stay in the closet, and then wait until like I'm on my feet, on my own, moved out of the house, financially stable, and then tell them. Or if you want to tell them you're still living with them, just like make sure that you have somewhere to go after. Yeah, that's about the only advice that I can give, but just come out on your own terms. You don't have to come out don't let other people force you to come out of the closet. Come out when you feel comfortable, and don't feel obligated to come out on a certain day. Don't be like, okay, next Wednesday, I'm gonna come out, and I'm gonna come out at 2:30, and then I'll be happy. Like, come out when you feel like it. And that's about it. So, I hope this helped. I hope it wasn't too rambly for you. It probably was, but oh well. And if you have any questions, comments, whatever, send me an inbox, send me a comment. I will get back to you. I will answer your questions, and yeah, that's about it. Bye, guys.